Are we living in a Brahma simulation? The Hindu Maya theory explained. We're going to be taking a look at another Indian monk video here. And when it comes to simulation theory, I feel like Elon Musk has made that popular probably in the last 5 or 6 years.
He thinks this is a simulation.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know where he stands on it today, now that it's 2025, but I've heard a lot of people talk about reality as a simulation, and I've heard other spiritual teachers say, no, there's nothing beyond this reality. This reality is it. But we'll have to take a look at the video, see what it has to say.
Elon Musk said that the odds of us not being in the simulation are in the billions. He believes wholeheartedly that we're in a simulation.
It would seem to follow that the odds that we're in base reality is 1 in billions.
Long before Elon Musk questioned our reality, before the Matrix made us doubt our existence, ancient Hindu sages proclaimed a shocking truth. This world is Maya, a divine simulation controlling our perception of reality. The veil between illusion and truth is thinner than you think, and once you see through it, nothing will ever be the same. 5,000 years ago, in the fertile valleys of the Indian subcontinent, sages received divine knowledge through deep meditation. These revelations were preserved in sacred texts called the Upanishad, containing a concept so profound that it continues to astonish modern philosophers and scientists alike: the concept of Maya. Maya is not simply illusion, but describes everything we experience through our senses as a projection of the divine. According to Hindu tradition, what we perceive as reality is actually a cosmic dream produced by Brahman, the ultimate consciousness underlying all existence. The Upanishad states, "From the unreal lead me to the real, from darkness lead me to light." This acknowledges that humans exist in a state of cosmic confusion, mistaking appearances for ultimate reality. In the Upanishad, we find the line, "that thou art." This reveals that our true self is not separate from the cosmic consciousness generating all existence. We are not merely characters in the simulation, we are aspects of the programmer. To understand Maya, consider your dreams. When dreaming, you create entire worlds with characters, places, and events. The dream feels absolutely real until you wake up. The Mandukya Upanishad describes 4 states of consciousness: waking, dreaming, deep sleep, and turiya, transcendental consciousness. According to this ancient text, only turiya represents true awakening. Our normal waking state is actually just another form of dream, albeit a collective one. Adi Shankaracharya wrote, "The world is an appearance, not ultimate reality. Just as a rope in dim light appears to be a snake, causing fear and confusion, the true nature of existence is misperceived due to ignorance." In Hindu tradition, this cosmic illusion serves a purpose. It is through Maya that the formless, boundless Brahman experiences limitation, form, and the righteousness of existence. Maya both conceals ultimate reality and projects the world we experience. Maya isn't just any illusion, it's a power so vast it can make the unreal seem real. Imagine the most realistic video game ever created, but instead of using a controller, you're inside it, feeling, tasting, touching everything completely.
Have you ever seen someone sitting in a meditation and their eyes are glowing and their chest ignites with... No? Every now and then I feel like... No, I'm joking. I've never had it happen, but it'd be awesome if it actually... You walked into some temple and there was a guy sitting there and a beam of light was shooting out of his head.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I want to talk more about that in a sec. I just want to throw out there, great use of AI, by the way.
Yeah.
Great use of AI. I'm noticing trends with certain groups.
Yeah.
And these guys are so good with that.
Yeah.
But yes, it would 100% be awesome if you came in and a dude was glowing and floating and anything miraculous. That would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And why is everybody so shy about it? If those things exist,
yeah, let's see it.
It's like, well, nobody's saying that exists, but come on, let's get real. Tall tales happen.
Mm-hmm.
So we're coming out of the woodwork already. If people can float or be telepathic,
yeah,
let's out with it and talk about it and see it. If not, what do we even like? I guess it's just cool to imagine things.
Yeah. Has the West hijacked this idea of Maya and just called it spiritual awakening? Because to me, it feels sometimes like they're talking about the same thing. Like some some epiphany or realization about reality. So I wonder if there's something going on here.
Well, yeah, like you look at the Matrix and it's like, wait, it's a fantasy world you wake up out of.
Yeah.
The Matrix is a Western movie, right?
Yeah.
But I see it kind of like this. Like the Matrix is really great, and I think it points to something maybe a little more not as spiritual. It's like the system that you're in. There's matrices.
Yeah.
The society that you're in is like a matrix that if you, like a fish swimming through water, don't know you're surrounded by water, you'd be like, what water? What system? What? I don't understand. It's obvious you're supposed to this, you're supposed to that, you're supposed to this. And then you see all those supposeds for what they really are. And you're like, out of the matrix. You see them through investigation and understanding of systems and understanding all that stuff, what it is. You see beyond the matrix. You're like, oh, I see what it is.
Yeah.
And then it seems like Maya is like a universal version of this. This is a dream. It doesn't, knowing that doesn't really do much unless you can see, by contrast, what isn't a dream.
Which leads to the awakening part. If you can pull yourself out of it and actually see it from a different angle, then you see the simulation. There's a truth, and I think one of the good descriptors of the truth is that it's like silence. It's the isiest thing behind all these shifting forms. It's the isness. And that is going to definitely be reinterpreted and rediscussed and rethought of and re-explained with a multitude of a variety of terms. Yeah.
I've mentioned a bunch of times I went to a conference once where everybody seemed to be pointing out awakening, but not able to use, they were only using scientific language like Gestalt. You have a Gestalt. And they were like, seemed like a bunch of hippies. They were like, I'm telling you, man. They're like in an academic setting. And I was like, why are you guys just not using, you could parody it against the topic of mysticism.
Yeah.
But then later, since then, people have pointed out, like, there's reasons for that. There's reasons why we have to keep inventing new words, because old words get old. They get, like, it's just white noise. So people keep trying to find better ways of pointing to the same thing. But it's always been there. It's always just the truth that's kind of not completely lost and hypnotized by the illusion.
Yeah. For our Hindu audience out there, I'd love to know in the comments, like, what you think about kind of like the Western spiritual teachers that touch on some of these things. Like, are they heretics, or do you see the similarities within them? Like, how open are you to, what they're talking about? But we'll leave that out there and we'll continue on.
Convinced it's real. The Hindu scriptures calls Maya extremely difficult to overcome. Lord Krishna explains to Arjuna that divine Maya creates a world of dualities, pleasure and pain, victory and defeat, that trap our minds in endless cycles of desire and suffering. But here's the twist. Unlike modern simulation theories that suggest some advanced civilization created our reality, Hindu texts reveal something far more astonishing. We are willing participants in this grand illusion. Our true self, the Atman, is one with the cosmic programmer, Brahman. We've simply forgotten our administrator access. When quantum physicists discovered that particles don't exist in definite states until observed, they unwittingly echoed what Hindu sages proclaimed thousands of years earlier. The observer effect, where consciousness affects reality, aligns perfectly with the ancient concept of Maya. The double-slit experiment shows that particles behave differently when observed. It's as if reality renders only when we're looking, exactly how video game environments work, loading only what the player can see. Even more startling, physicist John Wheeler proposed the participatory universe theory, suggesting that observers are vital to creating reality. This mirrors the Hindu concept that consciousness is fundamental to existence, not just a byproduct of the brain. Our senses, touch, taste, smell, sight, and hearing, are like limited input devices, connecting us to this simulated reality. The Upanishad compares these senses to horses drawing the chariot of the body, with the mind as the reins. Think about it. We don't experience reality directly. Our brains interpret electrical signals from our sensory organs to create our perception. Colors don't exist outside our minds. They are interpretations of different wavelengths of light. Touch is just pressure signals. Taste is chemical information. The Yog Vashisht, an ancient Hindu text, states, "The world appears to you as you think it to be." Modern neuroscience confirms this, showing how our brains create our experience of reality rather than simply receiving it. Unlike the red pill in the Matrix, Hindu tradition offers practical methods to see through Maya. Meditation, yoga, and self-inquiry were developed thousands of years ago specifically to pierce the veil of illusion. The great sage Adi Shankaracharya taught that through Advait Vedant, non-dualistic understanding, one could directly experience the unity behind the apparent diversity of the world. This experience, called samadhi, is described as awakening from a dream. When a person awakens to the truth, Maya doesn't disappear, the world continues to exist. But they see it for what it is, a play of consciousness, a divine game called Leela. The Upanishad describes this state when the self is known, all is known. Why would ultimate reality create a simulation? The Hindu tradition offers a surprising answer. Leela, divine play. Unlike simulation theories that suggest sinister motives, Hindu texts describe creation as an expression of joy and creativity. The cosmic dance of Lord Shiva symbolizes this constant creation and destruction cycle. The universe is not a prison but a playground, a stage for infinite experiences and possibilities. Brahman, the ultimate reality, is described as Sat Chitta Anand, existence, consciousness, and bliss. The simulation springs from this blissful consciousness, not from cold calculation or control. In the Yog Vashisht, sage Vashisht tells Lord Rama about multiple worlds existing simultaneously, each with its own space-time continuum, anticipating modern multiverse theories by thousands of years. Understanding Maya doesn't mean rejecting the world. Instead, Hindu tradition advocates living with awareness, playing the game skillfully while remembering it is a game. The Bhagavad Gita offers guidance. You have the right to act, but never to the fruit of act. You should never engage in action for the sake of reward, nor should you long for inaction. This perspective transforms everyday life. Pain and pleasure, success and failure are understood as temporary experiences within the simulation.
It's almost over, but I just wanted to quickly throw this in there.
Sure.
I think there's just a little too much bullshit.
What do you mean? Like what part? Like what's the...
There's nothing inherently wrong with any bullshit, but just I think there's a little bit of bullshit. Like I think rituals and adornments and even justifications and reason and rationality can contain horse or bull shit.
Yeah.
Meaning, if you were aware that everything was you, like this statement of you should do everything detached of outcome.
Yeah.
Right? And don't take this too hard. I'm just trying to be colorful here. I like a lot of this is great. But to be explained to that you're not doing it so that you can get something. You're doing it, you have the right to act, but you don't have the right to the outcomes.
Yeah.
It feels like you're trying to convince someone of altruism or morality or something a little bit.
Yeah.
I would just like to cut through anything and be like, realize that you are every single person, your greatest enemy. Conjure someone that hurt you, traumatized you, bring it to your mind. You're them. You are them. It's all one thing. If you really did get that, if you could get it, that would fundamentally change the way you operate. But you don't get it, and I feel like it confuses things to get people to emulate these things without them actually experiencing them.
Yeah. And then there's also like, don't bypass the like part of you that is thinking, this sounds awesome and I do want the awe and the transcendent part. I do want to feel awesome and go into bliss and see colorful worlds like this video is describing and, you know, meditate with lightning beams coming into my hand. Like, I think it's important to be honest about that when you bring up the part about, like, don't expect anything to get from it. It's just like a thing that is, right? Like, to become too altruistic about it, the way that you were talking about it.
It's not addressing the one, like, I keep seeing this sneaky form where the ego keeps being seduced. Yeah. It's the ego that's being seduced. Like, you will be able to see cool shit. Yeah. And you will have powers, and you will, like, when I see somebody meditating and they look like a rock star, like they look awesome while they're meditating, I call dog, horse, cow, shit, whatever kind of shit you want to call it, it's shit. Because if you're like, I'm going to do that, is anyone watching? Yes. Like, what kind of fucking nutcase are you that you're like, who cares if anyone's watching? You're the one watching you. It's all one thing. If you act selfishly, the reason you don't want to do things attached to the outcome is because it will 100% turn against you.
Yeah.
You don't get away with anything. We want to always some secret passage that makes it okay for us to be selfish. Just give me something that's okay. It just doesn't work that way. It's all one thing, especially if it's a dream. If it's a dream.
Yeah.
It's one dream, and you're not getting away with anything.
Yeah.
So just experience it, see it, know it without logic, because it's all completely paradoxical, and then go from there, from your heart.
All right, let's close it out.
Rather than ultimate realities. This doesn't diminish their immediate impact but places them in proper perspective. The concept promotes compassion. If we are all expressions of the same consciousness temporarily forgetting our unity, then hurting others means hurting aspects of ourselves. The simulation is designed for learning and growth, not exploitation. The Hindu concept of Maya offers a perspective on reality that was thousands of years ahead of its time. Long before digital technology gave us the language of simulations and virtual reality, ancient sages recognized that our conventional experience might not represent ultimate truth. Whether we call it a divine dream, a cosmic illusion, or a metaphysical simulation, the concept invites us to question our most basic assumptions about existence. It suggests reality might be infinitely more magnificent, mysterious, and interconnected than our everyday perception reveals. As modern physics continues to discover the counterintuitive nature of reality at its foundations, the wisdom of ancient Hindu seers seems increasingly prescient. They understood, without scientific instruments, that solid matter is mostly empty space, that observer and observed are inseparably connected, and that consciousness itself might be the foundation of everything we experience. The next time you look at the world around you, consider this ancient possibility. Everything you see, touch, and experience might be an elaborate cosmic dream, and awakening from that dream might be the ultimate purpose of human existence.
Also makes me want to ask the question, well, if it is a simulation, could it be a simulation within a simulation within a simulation, on and on forever, in every multi-universe, like in every dimension, every way?
Well, Leo Guru says he's a pretty smart guy, and he says it's not a simulation.
Yes, I know. He's definitely not.
Simulation within a simulation within a simulation. Like, I guess it could be.
Yeah.
But then, like, feel true?
Usually when you think about a simulation, you also typically would think that if someone's running the simulation, someone consciously or someone knows they're controlling it. So who's controlling it? And if it was a simulation within a simulation, it's infinitely being controlled by something behind it forever into infinity. Mm-hmm. It could be the case. I don't know.
Maybe go sit, lock yourself in a room and write charts and diagrams and waste 20 to 30 to 40 years. That for somebody, that is like completely what they would do.
Yeah.
Simulation, from my experience, when you look at things, I can entertain that it's not what I'm looking at isn't necessarily what I think it is. Mm-hmm. Like, that's a concept. If I'm looking at this camera, it appears to be a way to me, but what if that's an illusion? If I refer to the self that's looking at it, there's like a bunch of grammatical content, like words and stuff and descriptors and feelings that happen. I suppose that all could be like a simulation engineered by something. Is that what we're talking about? Like something's engineering the simulation?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Anyway.
And then you go, well, what's behind that? And maybe you get a sense of what's behind that. You're like, oh, there's a stillness and a silence that's behind that. And then to go, well, what is that? And it's already void of all content. It's already void of anything. You can't like slap any kind of thing to it.
Yeah. You can only experience it.
It's all perceived through this seeming one layer, which is like a shared layer that we're all in. So I don't find it pertinent personally to imagine that there's several more of those in some way, like especially not from like this is a video game perspective.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't think I need to ramble on anymore about that. What do you think?
No, I think you're right. For me, it's just for like if you want to entertain your imagination, it's something to think about. Which I do all the time, and I'm kind of a nerd that way, especially with space stuff. There's a lot of cosmic stuff in here, and I love that. It's cool. But I think you're right. I don't think you need to get lost in that. If anything, it may become a distraction to the original awakening stuff that we were talking about, right?
But it should hold up against it. The truth, I don't think, is vulnerable.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to be careful with the truth.
Yeah.
I don't think it's vulnerable. I don't think it needs to be protected. It's a good question.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of a good question. You know, this layer of perception that we're having, what if it's a simulation?
Yeah.
You know, and then what would be behind that?
Yeah.
Because you can play with consciousness.
Maybe when we die, maybe death is taking the VR headset off.
Right.
You know, which you like wake up and you're like, oh my god. Like, who knows? Who knows what awaits? But anyway, guys, hopefully you enjoyed our reaction on this one. If you did, don't forget to hit the like, subscribe, share us with a friend, and everyone till next time,
Stay spiritual.